Hi, this is Ruth Theresa with One Inspiring Woman, and today I'm talking all things Saturn in retrograde, and it is going in retrograde in the sign of Pisces for 2023. So I'm going to get you some dates, and then I'm going to be talking about some key dates that we're going to be making some interesting aspects that may make this energy a little bit harder or a little bit lighter, just depending on who you are and where you come from, and then who's really going to be most affected by Saturn in retrograde. Kind of how is this going to work out for us? So hang on, I'm going to get you all those details. So let's talk about it. So the hardcore, these are the facts. The facts are, you ready for this? Saturn enters into pre-shadow energy on March 11th, and it turns full retrograde on June 17th. It stations and turns direct on November 4th, and then it leaves post-shadow energy on February 7th. So almost a full year going backwards. And this is, like I said, is in the sign of Saturn. Saturn is in the sign of Pisces. So Saturn is known, Saturn in Pisces is kind of known for giving us a hard time because Pisces don't really want to commit to things. They're kind of a little wishy-washy at times, but Saturn's like, we need dates. We need some hardcore dates. When is this going to happen? And this is going to be bringing up some different energy for us. So kind of Saturn in retrograde in Pisces wants us to create a structure that kind of lacks that wishy-washy kind of energy, but really brings in some stable energy that we can kind of frame us into. Kind of like not necessarily stepping us in all of this stuff, but it's one of those, it's also going to be bringing us a lot of karmic destinies out in this time frame, and kind of like, what are we ready to move into? So let's talk about some key dates. So kind of the major key date is Mars in Virgo opposes Saturn in retrograde July 20th, and at this time we'll be fighting kind of like against the authorities. So we're going to be kind of pushing that energy of like, I don't like this. Now remember, these aspects come in and then they have their peak, which is July 20th, and then it kind of lets go. So it's one of those, all of that energy is in flow. So this is coming in of like fighting the authority, kind of fighting what everybody else has told us to do, and we want to do our own thing. Kind of like that teenager, like, I don't want to listen to mom and dad, I want to do something differently. So you're going to have a lot of people kind of like, I want my voice to be heard. And in fact, everybody wants to speak their mind. Everybody wants to feel like they're heard. Everybody wants to feel that they have something to say, something special to say, and they do. But it's one of those, this is kind of like us uniting and kind of going, listen to us, listen to what we have to say. And this can be very encouraging and kind of bring out some good things of kind of like feeling like we're being heard because we haven't felt being heard in the past. But this can also kind of bring out frustration with the government or the leaders of people, because it's one of those, they feel like you've given me authority and I can make changes, and you're going, no, I don't want you to make a change, I want to make a change. So that's going to kind of change in a lot of energies. And like I said, it's going to peak on July 20th, so it's going to be like, okay, and then here we go again. Let's talk about Mercury and Venus opposing Saturn in retrograde August 1st. And this is all about kind of like having those conflicts that we really care about, those conflicts. Like, this is not something I can let go of. I really got to get my voice heard. This is something I'm really passionate about, which is that Virgo energy. I want my passion in there. Before we speak our minds, it's important to really listen to what others have to say and not just jumping and making snap decisions, because so many times we're kind of like, here, we'll just tell you what my response is, even though you don't get a chance to get heard. This is a time to really, really listen to what they have to say, so you can kind of add to it, not take away from it or not pull the energy from them, but add to it. That's a very important thing. On August 27th, Virgo, our sun in the sign of Virgo, opposes Saturn in retrograde, and this influence will really influence our confidence. Our ego is all tied up in the sun energy, and the world is kind of forgotten about the little guy, or kind of what's going on. And this is a really great time to feel like we're getting heard, not being ignored. And remember, there's true power that lies within all of us. What is it that we're calling up in us? So many times people are expecting someone else to go, now you have the power. Not necessarily. These are going to be great, sorry, kind of some great energy to kind of make some changes in. Our true power lies within us. So what is it in us that we really want to bring up? And kind of our self-esteem. When we feel like we know we have the power within us, it's going to change how we react to people. If we feel like someone else has the power, it's not going to do it. We're like, now we want to go get it. It's like, you have the power, I want it. But it's one of those, when we realize that we have the power within us, it's going to change things. So let's talk about who these are going to really affect. Kind of this Saturn in retrograde is going to really be intense for Gemini, Virgos, and Sagittarius, and Pisces. Will be feeling this transition most intense, I will say. And it may give us a little bit of a whammy and a serious kind of slap to the face, or that cold splash of water in the morning, like, oh my gosh, you've got to wake up and get things going. This is going to be most challenging, because Saturn is really a social planet. So kind of like Saturn in all these transits are going to be really affecting everybody. So it's going to be challenging for a lot of different people. It depends on whether the individual is ready to kind of elevate their life. Are you ready to make those changes? Are you ready to take responsibility for actions? Are you ready to kind of do this key dance with Saturn of kind of like, let's get rid of all the bad karma and let's move into some good things? This is going to be most beneficial for every zodiac sign is going to go through some beneficial periods of this time frame. Kind of Saturn is ready to commit to plans. Unnecessary changes will come up, but without any hesitation, kind of allowing that Saturn, that structure within you, to kind of bring up that amazing energy in you and ready to make some amazing changes is going to take everything. But I guarantee your number one thing to remember is the power lies within you. Let's do some angel cards. I'm going to shuffle these up really, really well because I've been doing a couple of videos today, and I want to make sure that we've got some really good, interesting cards out of here, okay? So let's see. This one is popping off to the side, and so this is Sagittarius, and this is all about expanding, and this is all about like our spiritual growth, expanding that spiritual growth and expanding our energy in all of this. So let's see. Yeah, this one stayed sticking out. These two are the ones that are next. So the first one is the ninth house, and this is all about exploration. Finding in you, finding that energy in you. Don't let Saturn take over. Make sure you're finding that structure within you. I'm not a very structured person, but I try to be, and I guarantee you it's going to come out really, really well for you. Just keep in mind the structure is there to help support you. It's your balance. It's your jumping off point. It doesn't mean that it's trying to control everything. It's there for a reason. The other card was Gemini, and this is all about cross-pollinating. When we connect with other people that have like-mindedness, when we connect to other people that think similar to us and really allow their ideas to kind of help us work through things and kind of help us get through things, it's going to change how we deal with everybody else. It's going to make a difference. My next card is the 10th house, and this is the authority, and this is kind of like really representing kind of like Saturn. Saturn loves to rule things and be that structure, that calendar that keeps telling us what to do. It's not bad. It's really there to help you and kind of help your energy move forward. This is Neptune, and this is all about our vision. Once we get that structure, that calendar going in the right direction, then we can envision what we want there. What is it that we really want? What's going to make us happy in what we're doing? It's really important. Pluto, this is a rebirth time, kind of bringing in this amazing energy. Now, I will tell you too, if you haven't seen my video on Saturn in Pisces, because that's really a great way to kind of get some insight into this. Now, Saturn in Pisces in retrograde adds a little twist to that, but it doesn't add that much of a twist. It's going to help you really learn what you need to be focusing in on, where you need to focus in on, and what requires changing. Our last card is our South Node in the past. I will tell you the last time Saturn was in the sign of Pisces, I know, was 1994. 94 to 96. So I will tell you that what was going on in the world during that time frame is a great thing to kind of like Google and kind of see what was going on. It's also a great thing to kind of like, if you were alive during that time frame, a little bit older maybe, it's one of those, it's a great time to kind of really open up that energy. What was going on with you? What were the changes that you were making within you? What was going on in your world at this time frame is going to give you a great insight, because now we're going to get that next level lesson to come into. And it's going to make a lot of changes for us. Lessons are things that we really need to be gathering on this planet. They're really powerful of letting us know when we've made changes, we've gone through things. And it's kind of like looking at someone who's much younger. Like if you see someone in kindergarten getting mad about something, you're like, I remember when I got mad about those things. You'll be doing the same thing with Saturn in the sign of Pisces. I thank you so much, and I know that we'll be talking again soon.